Hi everyone, it's Renee Yvonne with CompoundPharmacyMarketing.com, and today is Wonderful Wednesday. Wonderful Wednesday is the day when I bring you one marketing tip to help you grow your compound pharmacy. Now, a couple weeks ago, I posted a question in my LinkedIn group that asked for just questions that people have about marketing their pharmacy, and a couple of people asked about what can they say and not say when they go into the doctor's offices to make sure that they're compliant and not saying anything that could possibly get them in trouble. Well, I started doing some research. I actually answered this before, but I wanted to do some more research and see are there some new things out that maybe I could discuss. And I did come across an article on the International Academy of Compounding Pharmacists website. So I want to share with you what they say because this is what I've been following. And they've added in a few things that actually I had not even actually mentioned before. So I thought this would be a great time to discuss this question and to talk about what you can and can't say. Of course, one of the biggest things is that you don't want to compare your product to something that's commercially available because then you get into saying into efficacy. So that could be something like, well, my sildenafil troches work better than Viagra. That's something you definitely don't want to do when you go into the office. Now, one of the ways that I have used to prove that things do work as far as compounding is patient testimonials. So where I don't have the studies that FDA manufacturers may have, I do have testimonials from customers or for patients who will say that whatever they use at your pharmacy has worked really well for them. So that's not you making a claim, that's the patient saying that it worked well for them. You definitely want to play it safe. You want to be cautious about what it is that you say because saying too much can often get you into trouble. So that's why one of the things I like to do is to use those patient testimonials. If you feel like this is a little walking on the edge, definitely consult legal counsel and find out from them what you should actually be saying and what you don't want to say so that you don't get into any trouble that way. You should definitely state that your compounds require a doctor, veterinary, dentist prescription and that you compound one thing for one patient. And that's one thing that you can do to help to minimize any type of trouble that you could possibly get into. This will kind of put that off because then you know I'm doing this for a doctor who's actually written a prescription. You can also make sure that they know that your compounds are prepared for that one person, maybe not, or if it's for office use that you put that on there too, that this has been compounded for office use. So that can help a lot as well. So definitely letting the doctor know, yes, I can do this for office use. Dentists often do that because they do a lot of things in-house, so they want to make sure that the patient has it there. Also making sure that when you do it for a doctor that they know I'm doing this for your patient, not for your entire office if that's the case. Now, some things that you may want to stay away from. Again, making claims that your drug works as well as something else is something you don't want to do. You also don't want to make compounds just because it's cheaper than doing the other brand. You want to make sure that when you're making the compounds and you're talking to the doctors about it, that you say your compound is doing something completely different. It's something that's not on the market. You're not just making Tylenol capsules because it's cheaper to make them than it is for the patient to buy them. But you're making Tylenol maybe because you're taking out a dye or a filler, you're putting it into a different form that Tylenol doesn't already make it in. So that is another way to help you market it without getting into any trouble. You also don't want to defy any laws that are already in place. So if you're not sure about what the laws are in your state, I would encourage you to check with IACP rx.org. That's IACPRX.org, and make sure you know what the laws are in your state. Each state is completely different. I worked in Texas, and in Texas, for instance, we could not do over-the-counter compounded medications, but I've worked with pharmacists in other states where that was totally okay. So make sure you know what it is you can and can't do in your state before you go out to market, and IACP is the best resource for that. So that being said, I hope I answered that question. You understand what you can and can't do, where the fine line is. And if you do have questions, definitely seek legal counsel and make sure you check with IACP. They are a tremendous resource, very valuable resource for compounding pharmacists for knowing what you can say legally and make sure you stay in business. That's very important for you to be able to do that. Now, that I've said all of that, I'd like you to do a couple of things for me. One is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do these videos every week where I answer questions or give marketing tips to pharmacists and marketers just like you to help you grow your compound pharmacy. Two, if you have any questions that you would like to have answered, I'd love it if you would ask your questions over in the box to the right. I have a section over there, ask a question, and you'll see the form. Once you click on the link, ask your question, and I'll use that question right here on Wonderful Wednesday. And three, to sign up and check out my monthly webinars. They're every Thursday, the first Thursday of the month. I did have to move it to this Thursday. I had a serious family emergency and I needed to move it. So it's going to be this Thursday. I'm going to be talking about search engine optimization. And I know in marketing, as a pharmacy, you may think, why in the world do I need to know that? But you need to know it because people need to find you, and your web presence is important. And how do you make sure that you have a great web presence and people are finding you is through search engine optimization. So I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So I'd love for you to join me then if you can. Also, don't forget to check out my RX for Compound Marketing workshop. It is starting on September 29th, and you can check out all the details on that. After this video ends, you'll see a link for it, and you can click on it, check that out. There's only 25 seats available for this, so you want to make sure that you get in as soon as possible. I do have people signing up. There are seats left, but I don't have a ton of seats. I'm keeping the class small on purpose so that I can work with people individually and help you grow your pharmacy. So if you are one of those people, make sure that you get in on this right away. In the meantime, I'm Renee Yvonne with CompoundPharmacyMarketing.com, wishing you a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.